Go.
Good morning, good morning. My name is Rose Asutaku, and I'm going to be your Network Plus instructor for this week. Did everybody get here okay? I know the traffic is a bit crazy in the morning, so I appreciate everyone getting here on time despite that, okay? But before we get started, we're just going to go through some housekeeping, making sure, can you see the PowerPoint clearly? Can you hear me well? Is the lighting okay and everything? Okay. How about the spacing between the desk, and do you have enough room for yourself? Okay. If you can, there are cords underneath the table and all kind of wires and stuff going on. Just try to keep your things out of the way so that when people are walking behind you or when I'm walking behind you, nobody hurts themselves. So either put it on top of the table or underneath the table to keep it safe. Restrooms, if you get out of here, the front door where the elevators are to the right, there are restrooms. If you keep going down on the left-hand side, the code for the women is 25, for the men is 41. Without that, you definitely would not be able to get into the restroom. The break room is out where the lobby is, just keep going straight. And we offer free donuts, coffee, bagels, sodas. So if you come early, you can definitely enjoy that, or during the break, you can go there to keep it out until it's all gone, okay? Emergency exits, where the elevator is, now you have your restrooms to your right. To the left is a staircase, and that's where you will go down the stairs if there's any kind of emergency. And just get as far away from the building as possible and try to keep close to everyone. Please don't go home. You need to make sure that you're accountable for. So just try to meet up with everyone, and then we'll go from there as to what to do. As you know, class starts at 8:30 in the morning. I like to start my classes promptly at 8:30. And they will typically run till about 3:30. It says 4:30 on the slide. I like to give the last hour for any questions or help that you might need, any kind of assistance. And so typically we'll run from 8:30 to 3:30. Breaks, I like to give my breaks about every hour to an hour and a half, depending on the flow of the class. Sometimes we have brain overload. I'll just give a break in an hour. And typically the breaks are 10 to 15 minutes. Lunch is going to start no earlier than 11:30 and end no later than 1:30. The lunch is always going to be an hour. So if we start at 12:30, we'll end at 1:30, start at 11:30, end at 12:30. Just to give you an idea, okay? Any questions so far about that? All right, awesome. So now let's take this time to introduce ourselves. I'll go first. Like I said, my name is Rose Asutaku. If you're wondering, I'm definitely not Japanese. Not that I know of. I still have to do an ancestry.com check so to make sure, but I'm definitely not Japanese. I am currently an instructor at Phoenix TS. I have been around the IT field ever since I was in high school. My brother was a trainer, so I used to sit in his classes during the summer, and that's where my interest in IT was piqued. I tried to go the college route, but I didn't really care for programming because that's what they were kind of forcing me to go into. And so I went the certification route, and I appreciate that type of education so much more because I was able to get in there, learn what I needed to use, and get the certification, and then use it. So from there, I just kept getting certification after certification and decided that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to provide that education to other people because I appreciate it so much. One fun thing about me, I love eating. I love to eat. I'm small, but I love to eat. So if you feel free, bribe me with lunch if you want to. I'll really appreciate it. I'll always appreciate it. Now, I would like to learn something about you. So if you can tell me your name, where you work, any kind of IT experience you have, even if it's not in this class, what you expect from the course. I forgot to cover that actually. That's the most important thing. I expect to thoroughly cover all the objectives from the book. And not only that, to offer practical knowledge so that you can use this information at home with your personal computers or at work in whatever you do. In addition to that, I expect you to ask me questions. I love questions. I feel like learning happens when questions are asked. So feel free to ask me questions at any time. I have a parking lot here. And the parking lot is meant for questions. These are questions that I may not be able to answer right at the moment. And so maybe they're off topic or anything. If you give them to me, I'll write them here, and either by the end of the day or by the next morning, I'll have the answer to you. Okay? So please feel free to ask questions. All right, now we'll start from the ladies first, and I'd like to know that information that I just provided for you. Don't forget the one fun thing, because that's what I want to know most importantly. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. My name is Lisa. I work in educational technology field for a federal agency. I've been tinkering with IT ever since I can remember. My expectations is I expect to learn as much as that you're willing to teach us while we're here. And one fun thing about me is that I have been to Six Flags more in the last 2 years than I have my entire life.
Well, I definitely haven't been to Six Flags here so far. How do you like it?
It's fun with a 5-year-old.
It's fun with a 5-year-old? Okay, I'm gonna have to go with you then, because I don't know if I'm gonna have fun by myself. All right, go ahead.
My name is Frank. I'm currently a help desk employee. I don't have that much IT experience. I've been doing it for a couple months, and I hope to be able to help people that need it more after this class, more help them more efficiently, I guess you could say.
Okay.
And one fun thing about me is from the Jersey Shore, and I like to surf.
Oh, nice. Doesn't seem like y'all have a lot of water around here for surfing, right?
No?
No? Okay. All right, go ahead.
So I'm Tim. I'm an instructor at a training facility nearby. Been in the IT field about 10 years. I have a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. From this course, mostly trying to get set up to take the certification exam. Of course, I'll learn something as we go. One fun thing about me is I ran a 50-kilometer race a few weekends ago, and the next day I ran a marathon.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I do not like running, so I commend
Not
you.
for everyone.
I commend you completely.
My name is Vincent. I'm a network administration student at Howard Community College, and I'm here looking to just gain a broader understanding of networking. My IT experience in the past is just a lot of working on computers at home, working on computers for friends. I'm a CompTIA Technical Certified, and work with the certification as well. One fun thing about me is I'm a skateboarder. I've done it for about 15 years now, and at one point I was actually sponsored.
Oh, nice. So you're like a networking, A+ skateboarding. That's kind of cool. I love it. You have many talents.
It goes together quite naturally.
Good morning, my name is Ron, and I am an IT telecommunication instructor with the government. I've been in the field since 1982. My expectations from this class is to be able to teach my students the newer technology. And the one fun thing of me is that I love traveling to the Caribbean.
Ooh, I have not been to the Caribbean yet, but I definitely want to go. So you have to tell me some cool places to go to when I do travel there. I
Yes.
definitely plan on going. Okay, well, it sounds like everybody expects to learn. You want to pass certification. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for all of those things. And also, like I said, to give you that practical knowledge, that conceptual knowledge, so that you don't just know what the book is telling you, but you can actually go home and easily apply it. And so I plan on helping you, fulfill those expectations. Now, quick course overview. The exam is 90 minutes long. It's about 84 questions, and you have 5 to 7 simulations in the exam, and then the rest are multiple choice. So that's just to give you an idea of what the test is going to be like. The book has 12 chapters, and I plan on covering about 3 chapters a day. And so that if everything goes according to plan, that's what we're planning, and then we'll have enough time, to go over anything else that you might need help with. Okay? All right, so if I have everybody turn to page VII at 7 in Roman numerals, you'll see your table of contents. And we will start with today's objectives. What we're going to cover in this first morning half, we're going to talk about how decimal numbers are represented in binary format, how you can convert the binary back to decimal format, and the format of an IP version for address. And the last bullet says WFM. It stands for what's in it for me. A lot of times, people are wondering, why do I need to learn this? Why is it important? Well, for a Network Plus class and just networking in general, if you want to get into IT, you're more than likely going to be building networks. And so in order for you to build a network, you have to subnet. In order for you to subnet, you have to be able to convert. And so we're starting with that basic foundation of how to build a network and understanding conversion from decimal to binary and back. Okay? All right. So if you can start from chapter 1, move on to that. That's where we're going to be. Go ahead.
Excuse me, so we have to do math for this class?
Yeah, I will say the math is only adding and subtracting. Don't get too anxious. I'm going to make it as easy as possible for you as I can. And also, there's this handy dandy chart I put up here that we're going to use throughout this process of conversion that's going to make the math pretty simple. All you're pretty much going to be doing is adding and subtracting. And feel free to use your calculator. I do not discriminate. So trust me, to release the most anxiety as possible, that's my goal. So don't worry about it. It's not, I'm going to make it as easy as possible. All right. So every day, you know, in our day-to-day lives, we use base 10 numbering. That's decimal. And so we count 5,434. That's using base 10 numbering. And so those numbers range from 0 to 9, using 10 digits. Now, computers, though, they use base 2 numbering, which is binary. And so instead of 0 to 9 digits, they only have 2. They have 0 and 1. And that's what they understand. And so what we're going to learn is pretty much to know what the computer reads as opposed to what we see on the screen. This chart here is what we're going to use for our conversion. It's only used for IP version 4 addresses. If you notice, if you add all these numbers together, you're going to get no number greater than 255. So that's as great as you're going to be able to convert is any number that's 255 or less as far as IP version 4, which we're going to talk about later. So you don't have to worry about writing this chart right now. I'm going to give you time to do that later, okay? Now, converting decimal to binary. When you're converting from decimal to binary, you're going to just place a 1 under each value that you need to add together to make that decimal number. And so with the chart that we're seeing, you're going to use it from left to right. So we have an example here. What is 177 in binary? So what I would do if I was converting this is I would say, okay, I'm given 177. Now, I'm going to start from the left to right and ask myself, 128. Can 128 be subtracted from 177? Yes? Okay, great. So I subtract it here. I'll get 49. Now, if the answer is yes, I'm going to come here and put a 1. All right, that's simple. Move on to the next number, 64. Can 64 be subtracted from 49 to get a positive number?
No.
No, okay? If the answer is no, I put a 0. I don't need you, 64. Move on. 32. Can 32 be subtracted from 49? Yes, okay. So I'll subtract it and get 17. I know I needed 32, so I'm going to put a 1 here. All right, 16. Ron, can 16 be subtracted from 17?
Yes.
Yes. All right. That's going to leave me with 1. I'm going to put a 1 here. From there on, you have a smallest number, so it gets a little easier. You know, 8, that's too big. 4, that's too big. 2, Vincent, what do you think? Too big?
Yeah.
Yeah, too big. So it makes it a little easier. I just put 0. I don't need you. I don't need you. I don't need you. I get to 1. Can 1 be subtracted from 1?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. All right. That leaves me with 0. So now, that simply, I get to the end of my chart. I know that 177, which is what we see, maybe that's part of our IP address, who knows? This is what the computer's going to see. 10110001. All right? So let's go ahead and try examples on our own. I've put one up on the board here, 127. If you can, go ahead and translate 127 into binary format. And I have, go ahead if you can, put the chart down because you're going to use it again later to convert from binary to decimal.
Thanks.
Oh, you like to use technology. Nice. Okay. Yep. That's right. Awesome. Exactly. All right. So it seems like everyone is getting a good hang of this. So we're going to go ahead and do this together as a class. And so we'll do this example all together. 127. So we said 128. Can 128 be subtracted from 127? No, right? So we don't need you. We don't need you, 128. Put a 0 here. 64. How about that?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. 32. So we need 64. All right. 16. You need your 16.
Copy that. That's gonna be 15 though?
Here?
Yeah. I mean, you're 31 minus 16, you've got 25 there.
Yes. You said it's going to be 15.
No. I mean, the 16,
16.
right?
Yeah.
If you subtract that, you got
Ah.
25 there.
See that? You're talking about math. I'm obviously not good at math
Right.
either.
No.
Alright. So you need a 1 5. You got a 2
Okay.
there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was just checking to make sure you guys understand.
Thanks.
You know? All right. So 8. Can 8 be subtracted from 15?
Yes.
Yes. All right. 7. And then we go 4 plus 2 plus 1. Yes. We need the 4. We need the 2. We need the 1. So is that the answer that everyone got? Because I checked around. It seems like that's what everyone got. Okay. All right. So 127 in binary is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is what we see. This is what the computer sees.
Where does the computer see that?
The computer sees that in the background. So as far as the graphics, you know, we're seeing 127, but when it's translating that to be able to compute what we're writing, that's what it's going to see. It's never going to see 127. Good question. All right. So now we're going to get into the opposite. How do we convert binary back to decimal? It gets even easier. Now, typically, you're going to translate it at 8 bits, which you're going to see in the IP version 4 addressing. You give them 8 bits at a time, and all you're going to do is take those 8 bits you're given at a time and plug them into your chart from left to right. In every place where you see a 1 under it, you're going to add that value to get your number in decimal, okay? All right, so the example I put on the board is what is 100111100 in decimal? So, all right, we start. Is there a 1 under 128?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we need you, 128. We start there. Then, do we need 64 or 32?
No.
No, because there's zeros under there. We don't need them. We get to 16.
Yes.
All right, how about 8?
Yes.
And how about 4?
Yes.
All right, so when we add that all together, we get 156, okay? And so that means, in literal terms, what the computer is going to see is 100111100, and what we see is 156. So that's how we translate back into decimal, pretty much starting from where the computer sees. Now, let's go ahead and try this example on our own. Let's try to convert 10101010 into decimal format. I think you're doing this ahead.
It was a little bit.
Yeah, you're too fast. You too.
He's using technology though.
Great. All right, so remember that, you want to start from left to right. Just add them all together, okay? Okay, great. Thank you. You're welcome. All right, seems like you're getting a hang of it, Ron. And like I said, feel free to use a calculator. No worries. Okay. Awesome. I like the little format you got going on there. All right, so if I can just have everyone shout it out, what is 10101010 in decimal format?
170.
170. Does everybody agree? Yes. All right. So far, any questions? No, right? It's pretty simple. The chart pretty much does all the work for you. All you have to do is add or subtract, depending on what you're converting to. All right? So now, IP version 4 makes this more real life. When you go into computer, as we'll do later, you're going to see you have an IP address. Your IP address lets you know what network you're in and what part of the machine belongs to you. And so when you're using an IP version 4 address, it's a 32-bit address using dotted decimal notation. Now, it's 4 octets with 8 bits being in each octet to make up those 32 bits. And so as you see in the example, you have 192.168.31.2. The dot separates each octet. And so when you see your IP address as 192.168.31.2, this is what your computer sees. That's how it translates. Okay, and so if you notice, you have 11000000. That's for 192. 168.1010100. 31. 0001111, and then 2. 0000010. Okay, and so it just makes the translation easier. We're going to go into IP version 6 next, which gets a little more complicated because it uses hexadecimal numbers, and then we'll take a break. Okay.